On the sunny beach of California, the ocean waves danced under the sunlight, creating a spectacle of sparkle and movement. Sammy, the dolphin, was the star of that vibrant scene. With his shiny skin and strong tail, he leaped out of the crystal-clear waters in impressive acrobatics, doing flips and spins that caught the attention of all the nearby fish. The small, colorful fish, swimming in schools, stopped to watch, amazed by Sammy's contagious energy. "Look how amazing he is!" exclaimed a clownfish with orange stripes, blinking its big eyes with excitement. "I wish I could be as agile as he is." On the other side, amidst the rocks and seaweed, Benny, a small and lonely fish, watched Sammy with a mix of admiration and sadness. His eyes, usually full of life, now reflected a deep melancholy. He felt invisible, like a shadow on the edge of the party happening in the water. While Sammy jumped and played, Benny couldn't help but think about his own dull and boring life. "Why can't I be like him?" Benny murmured to himself, his heart heavy. "I just wish I had a friend and could have some fun." Then Sammy, during one of his highest jumps, noticed Benny. Something in the little fish's expression caught his attention. He saw the loneliness in Benny's eyes and, driven by empathy, decided to swim over to him. "Hey, why are you just standing there?" Sammy asked, emerging from the water with a wide smile on his face. "You should be having fun. Come and join me." Benny was surprised. He had never imagined that such a popular and lively dolphin would take an interest in him. I don't know," Benny replied, hesitating. "I'm not as good at swimming or jumping as you are. I'm just a regular fish." "Regular? There's no such thing in the ocean. Everyone has their own special way of being," Sammy said, shaking his head encouragingly. "Life is much more fun when we share moments with others. Let's explore together. What do you think?" Benny looked at the dolphin, feeling a warmth in his heart. It was the first time anyone had invited him to join the fun. "Explore? What do you have in mind?" he asked, his curiosity starting to overcome his shyness. "Oh, so many things. We can swim to the coral reefs. It's a magical place full of colors and life. You're going to love it," Sammy exclaimed, his eyes sparkling with excitement. "Come on, I promise it'll be fun." With one last glance at the waves gently breaking on the shore, Benny decided he couldn't miss this opportunity. "Okay, I'll go," he said, feeling a wave of excitement rush through his body. "But I can't promise I'll be as good as you." "You don't have to be. The important thing is to have fun," Sammy replied, winking. "Let's go." And so, the two set off toward the coral reefs, swimming side by side. Sammy led the way, leaping and diving gracefully, while Benny, a bit nervous, tried to keep up with the dolphin's movements. With every move, he felt Sammy's energy rubbing off on him, making his heart beat faster. "Look at these colors!" Sammy shouted, pointing to the vibrant corals and the fish swimming around. "This is just the beginning of our adventure, Benny." As the two friends swam together, Benny began to realize that life could be much more than just the monotonous routine he had known. He was about to embark on a journey that would change his life forever. Benny looked at the vast ocean ahead, with its blue waters and gentle waves, and felt a twinge of sadness. He was so used to the monotony of his life that he couldn't imagine a world beyond the rocks where he used to hide. Meanwhile, Sammy, the dolphin, swam nearby, jumping and doing acrobatics, catching the attention of all the fish around him. The sunlight reflected off his scales, and his laughter echoed through the sea. Benny watched from afar, admiration mixed with a deep desire for freedom. Noticing the sadness in the little fish's eyes, Sammy swam closer, his radiant smile lighting up the water around him. "Hey, buddy, why are you so far away from everyone? Come and join me," Sammy exclaimed as he did a dazzling flip. Benny hesitated, looking at the dolphin approaching him. "Oh, Sammy, I'm not like you. I don't know how to swim like that. In fact, I don't know how to do anything fun. My life is so boring." His voice trembled, revealing the insecurity he felt. Sammy, always optimistic, tilted his head, curious. "Boring? But how can you know if you've never tried? The ocean is full of amazing things. Come on, let's explore together. You might find out there's so much more to life than just staying still." Benny looked at the dolphin, anticipation starting to sparkle in his eyes. "Do you really think I could? I'm just a small and clumsy fish." "Of course you can," Sammy replied, enthusiastically flapping his tail. "You just have to believe in yourself. Let's swim to the coral reefs. They're beautiful and full of life. You're going to love it." With some hesitation, Benny decided to follow Sammy. They swam together towards the reefs, and soon a burst of colors appeared before them. The vibrant corals rose like underwater mountains, and fish of all shapes and sizes danced among the corals. Benny was amazed, his heart pounding with a new sensation. "Look, Benny! See how the fish move! They're having fun!" Sammy exclaimed, spinning around a school of clownfish. Benny couldn't help but smile at the evident joy in those creatures. "Let's join them." "But I don't know how," Benny replied, a bit nervous. "We'll do it together. I'll show you how to swim faster and jump higher. You'll see, it's going to be amazing." Sammy said, his excitement contagious. He started swimming in circles, encouraging Benny to follow him. Benny took a deep breath and decided to give it a try. He began swimming faster, keeping up with Sammy's pace. Although he felt a bit clumsy, the dolphin's energy encouraged him. "That's right, Benny, you're doing great," Sammy shouted as he launched into a spectacular jump. As they swam, Benny began to feel freer. The water around him seemed to vibrate with the happiness he was starting to experience. "Sammy, this is so much fun. I never thought I could feel this way," he said, laughing. "See, I knew you could do it. The ocean is full of beauty and joy. You just need to allow yourself to feel it," Sammy replied, enthusiastically flapping his tail. They continued exploring the reefs, and each new discovery brought a wave of joy to Benny. He saw starfish, sea urchins, and even a small anemone dancing to the rhythm of the waves. The feeling of being alive had never been so intense. The sadness that had followed him for so long began to feel like a distant echo. "Sammy, thank you for bringing me here. I really needed this," Benny said, his voice full of emotion. "I feel like I'm starting to find myself." Sammy smiled, happy with the transformation of his new friend. "This is just the beginning, Benny. The ocean is a magical place, and we have so many adventures ahead. Let's enjoy every moment." And so, with their friendship growing stronger, Benny allowed himself to dream of a world where joy and freedom were possible. As Sammy and Benny swam through the crystal-clear waters, the sun filtered its rays through the ocean's surface, creating a spectacle of dancing lights that enchanted their eyes. Benny's curiosity grew with each movement, but there was still a shadow of insecurity hovering over him. Then, as they approached a deeper reef, they encountered an old, tough-shelled turtle named Tula. Tula was resting peacefully on a rock covered in seaweed, looking out at the horizon. When she noticed the two friends, a smile formed on her wrinkled face. "Hello, young ones. What brings you to this part of the ocean?" Her voice was soft and full of wisdom. "Hi, Tula. I'm Sammy, and this is my new friend Benny. We're exploring the wonders of the ocean," Sammy replied, joyfully jumping in the water. Benny, a bit shy, waved his fin, but his scales shimmered with excitement. "Exploring, huh? How lovely. The ocean has so many stories to tell. I know a few if you're interested," Tula said, slowly getting involved in what promised to be a fascinating conversation. "Yes, please," Benny exclaimed, his voice trembling with excitement. "I'd love to hear them." "Then let me tell you about one of my most memorable encounters," Tula began, looking far away as if traveling back in time. "Once, I met a group of dolphins who danced under the moonlight. They taught me that life is made of moments, and each one should be cherished. The joy they shared was contagious." "Wow, that sounds amazing," Sammy commented, his eyes shining. "I love dancing." Benny, who was listening carefully, began to realize that the life he led could be more than the monotonous routine he knew. "And how did you feel, Tula?" he asked, curious. "Oh, dear Benny," Tula replied with a gentle look. "Happiness doesn't come only from big adventures, but also from the little moments. Sometimes a simple shell can remind us of something special, or a sunset can make us feel grateful. It's the way we choose to see the world around us that determines our happiness." Benny thought about this, feeling a warmth in his heart. I never saw it that way. I always thought I needed to do something grand to be happy. It's a common trap, Sammy intervened, but Tula is right. True joy is in enjoying each moment, no matter how small. Exactly, Tula nodded, her eyes sparkling. I always say we should learn to dance in the rain instead of waiting for the storm to pass. Every day is a new opportunity to find joy, even in the simple things. Benny started to smile, his heart feeling lighter. Maybe I can try seeing life in a new way. I want to learn to enjoy every moment, just like you said. Tula smiled, satisfied with the change in the little fish's perspective. That's wonderful, Benny. And remember, friendship is a big part of this journey. Having friends by your side makes everything more beautiful. Yes, with friends everything is more fun. Everything is... Sammy exclaimed, leaping into the air as if to illustrate his excitement. I wish I had more friends, Benny confessed, a little embarrassed. I've always been so shy. But with you, Sammy, I feel different. And now, listening to you, Tula, I feel like I can be braver. Courage comes from within, Benny, Tula said encouragingly, and you've already taken the first step by opening yourself up to friendship. Keep going, and you'll see that the world is a wonderful place. The three friends continued talking, sharing laughs and stories, while the sunlight slowly dipped below the horizon, turning the sky into a palette of vibrant colors. Benny, wrapped up in the conversation, realized that with friends by his side and a new outlook on life, happiness was within reach of his fins. The sun shone brightly, reflecting its golden light on the crystal-clear waters of the ocean. Sammy, the dolphin, looked at Benny, who was a little hesitant. The small fish, who once felt so sad and isolated, was now about to try something completely new. Sammy, with his radiant smile, swam in circles around Benny as if creating an atmosphere of encouragement. Benny, are you ready to jump? It's easier than it seems, said Sammy, his voice full of enthusiasm. I don't know, Sammy. What if I can't do it? Benny replied, shaking his head, his big eyes reflecting uncertainty. Don't worry, I'll be right here with you. Let's try together, just follow my lead, Sammy exclaimed, doing a flip in the air to show how fun it was to jump through the waves. Benny watched Sammy with admiration. The dolphin seemed so free and happy when he jumped, and something inside Benny began to stir. All right, I'll try, he decided, swallowing hard. He got into position, still a bit nervous, and Sammy swam closer, encouraging him with a confident look. Focus on the water. When I count to 3, we'll jump together. 1, 2, 3, Sammy shouted, and the two of them leaped at the same time. Benny felt the wind rush past his scales, and a flutter in his stomach came with it. But as he jumped, a wave of adrenaline surged through him. Wow, I did it! Benny shouted, his voice filled with joy and surprise. He had jumped, even if not as high as Sammy. But the feeling of being in the air, even for a brief moment, awakened something inside him. That was amazing, Benny. Now let's do it again. But try to jump a little higher this time, Sammy encouraged, swimming beside his friend. They repeated the movement several times, and with each jump, Benny felt more confident. Laughter and shouts of joy echoed through the sea. After a few tries, Benny finally managed to jump more confidently. He turned to Sammy, his eyes shining with happiness. Look, I jumped a little higher, he exclaimed, and the dolphin's smile grew even wider. That's great. You're getting the hang of it. Now let's see what else we can do, Sammy suggested, leading Benny toward a group of rocks covered in colorful corals. This is a perfect place to explore. As they swam, Benny felt a lightness in his heart. That day was turning out to be one of the most special of his life. It wasn't just because of the jumps, but because he had a friend like Sammy by his side. They arrived at an underwater cave where many colorful fish were swimming around. Look at all the friends here, Benny. Let's join them, Sammy said excitedly. Benny hesitated for a moment, but Sammy's joy was contagious. All right, let's go, he replied, and together they joined the group. The vibrant colors of the fish danced around them, and Benny felt a warmth in his chest, something he hadn't felt in a long time. Are you having fun, Benny? Sammy asked as they swam among the fish. I am. It's so beautiful here, Benny replied, admiring the beauty of the coral reef. I never knew the ocean was so amazing. And this is just the beginning. There will always be something new to discover. The important thing is to learn to enjoy every moment, Sammy said, winking at his friend. Benny, now more relaxed and excited, began to follow Sammy, who led him in a playful dance among the fish. He felt more alive than ever, and the sadness that once accompanied him seemed like a distant memory. The little fish, who once felt trapped in his routine, was now discovering a world full of joy and friendship, all thanks to a dolphin who believed in him. Benny stayed on the edge of the underwater party, his big round eyes watching the seals dancing and having fun. The place was filled with laughter and air bubbles rising to the surface, reflecting the sunlight that penetrated the water. Every move the seals made was a burst of energy and joy, and for a moment Benny felt a bit intimidated. The vibrant music and sounds of joy were almost tangible, and he couldn't help but wonder if he could really join in. Are you okay, Benny? Sammy asked, swimming beside him, noticing his hesitation. The dolphin had an encouraging expression, and his tail moved playfully, as if he were dancing even outside the party. I don't know, Sammy. Look how much fun they're having. I've never danced before, Benny replied, his voice trembling slightly. He watched a seal do an impressive spin, causing laughter from its friends. Don't worry. The first time is always the hardest. But you'll see, it's a lot of fun. Come on, I'm right here with you. I promise you won't regret it, Sammy encouraged, winking and doing a light jump in the water, creating some bubbles around him. Benny looked at Sammy, who seemed so sure of himself. He remembered all the adventures he had experienced with the dolphin, the joy that was starting to grow inside him. Do you think I'm a good dancer? Benny asked hesitantly, seeking his friend's reassurance. It doesn't matter if you're a good dancer or not. The important thing is to have fun. Come on, let's join them, Sammy exclaimed with a big smile. He started swimming toward the party, and Benny hesitated for a moment. But Sammy's contagious energy was hard to resist. With a push through the water, Benny followed Sammy. As he got closer, he felt the excitement in the air. The seals were dancing in circles, doing acrobatics and taking turns jumping. The sound of laughter echoed all around, and Benny felt his heart start to race. Maybe I'll just watch a little longer, he murmured to himself. Look, that seal over there is calling you, Sammy shouted, pointing at a seal with white spots, waving its flippers at him. Come on, Benny, you can dance with us? Benny paused, his heart beating fast. What if I mess up, he asked, his voice almost a whisper. It doesn't matter, nobody's here to judge. We're here to have fun, Sammy replied, with the typical confidence of a fearless dolphin. He gave one more push and launched into the dance, spinning and moving in ways that seemed so natural to him. With a deep breath, Benny decided to take a step forward. All right, I'll try, he murmured, feeling adrenaline rush through his body. As he got closer to the group, the space opened up and the seals began to clap, encouraging him. Benny hesitated for a second, but then, inspired by the energy around him, he started to sway his body from side to side. He remembered the tricks Sammy had taught him, and with a bit more confidence, he made a small jump. To his surprise, he did it. It was a clumsy jump, but the feeling of freedom and joy was overwhelming. That's it, Benny. You did it, Sammy shouted, swimming next to him and jumping along. The party was getting livelier, and Benny felt happiness grow inside him, like a light finally being turned on. The seals began to join him, forming a circle and encouraging his moves. Benny started to laugh and let himself go with the rhythm, feeling like he was truly part of the party for the first time. He danced, jumped, and even tried some of the simpler acrobatics Sammy had shown him. I never thought dancing would be this fun, Benny shouted as a seal approached, motioning for him to try a spin. He tried to keep up, and even though it wasn't perfect, the joy he felt was undeniable. See, you're a great dancer, Sammy exclaimed, joining him in a series of jumps. Just keep having fun. And so, in the midst of laughter and music, Benny let himself be carried away by the joy, realizing that friendship and fun were all he ever needed. He was no longer alone, he was surrounded by friends, and life under the sea had never seemed so beautiful. As the underwater party came to life around him, Benny felt more and more immersed in the seals' vibrant energy. The laughter echoed like music in the clear waters, and he couldn't deny the joy pulsing in his heart. Looking around, he saw Sammy, his new friend, moving with grace and enthusiasm, inspiring him even more. "Look, Benny, are you having fun?" Sammy asked with a wide, contagious smile. He danced, jumping and twirling, the sunlight filtering through the water and creating a display of colors around him. "Yeah, I am. It's all so amazing," Benny replied, hesitating for a moment. He was still a little unsure, but the warmth of the friendship he had found encouraged him. "I never thought I could feel this way." "And there's more. You're going to love this," Sammy exclaimed, pulling Benny closer to the group of seals. They were organizing a dance competition, and the atmosphere was pure fun. The energy was electric, and Benny couldn't resist getting carried away. "Come on, Benny! You can do it!" Sammy shouted, cheering him on. Benny looked at the seals, who were already doing flips and acrobatics, and felt a bit intimidated. But at the same time, a wave of courage began to rise inside him. "Do you think I can do this?" Benny asked, a little hesitant. "Of course, just let go and let the joy in. Remember, you're a part of this moment now," Sammy replied, winking and enthusiastically flapping his fin. With a deep breath, Benny decided to take a step forward. He approached the seals, who welcomed him with smiles and winks. The underwater music continued, and little by little, Benny started to move. He swayed his body, following the rhythm, and soon found himself dancing alongside Sammy. "Look, Benny, you're doing great," Sammy exclaimed, jumping next to him. Benny couldn't hold back the smile that spread across his face. The dancing made him feel alive, and the joy blossoming inside him was irresistible. "This is so much fun!" Benny shouted as he spun in circles, feeling the cool water on his skin. The seals clapped and cheered, and Benny realized that there, in that moment, he was no longer alone. He was part of something bigger, part of a celebration that included him. As the dance continued, Benny and Sammy drifted away from the group, finding a quiet spot to admire the sunset unfolding above the ocean's surface. The colors of the sky reflected on the waters, creating a display of warm and welcoming tones. Benny looked at the horizon, feeling grateful and whole. "Look how beautiful it is, Sammy," said Benny, his eyes shining. "I never realized how wonderful the world is until now." "I knew you would feel that way. Life is full of little beauties. You just have to know where to look," Sammy replied, gazing at his friend with pride. "You're becoming the fish you were always meant to be." Benny took a deep breath, absorbing every moment. He turned to Sammy, his heart full of gratitude. "Thank you, Sammy. I never thought I could be this happy. You helped me see life differently." "And this is just the beginning, Benny. True friendship is about exploring, learning, and most of all, having fun together," Sammy replied, gently touching his friend's fin. "Let's always remember that joy is found in the little things." Benny smiled, feeling that he had finally found his place in the world, surrounded by friends and new experiences. He knew that from that day on, his life would never be the same. He was ready to live with joy, gratitude, and an open heart, ready for all the adventures the ocean still had to offer. The underwater party was at its peak, with seals doing acrobatics and fish dancing to the rhythm of the bubbles forming around them. Benny, now more excited than ever, said goodbye to each of his new friends. The sparkle of excitement in his eyes was unmistakable. He felt that after this magical night, his life would never be the same. "It was amazing meeting you all. I hope we can get together again," said Benny, his cheerful voice sounding like a happy melody amidst the sounds of the party. A group of clownfish swam over, full of laughter. "You're a star, Benny. Don't disappear. We promise we'll dance together next time," one of the fish exclaimed, winking. Benny smiled, feeling the warmth of friendship fill him. As the party began to wind down, Sammy and Benny swam together a little farther, heading toward a reef illuminated by the soft sunset light filtering through the waters. The scenery was breathtaking, the colors of the sky reflected on the fish's scales, creating a spectacular show of light and color. Sammy, with his vibrant energy, looked at Benny, who was still in a state of euphoria. "Did you see how much fun you had? You were dancing like there was no tomorrow," Sammy exclaimed, his eyes sparkling with joy. "That's how you live, my friend." Benny, still enchanted, replied, "I never thought I could feel this way, Sammy. I really enjoyed myself. I felt like I was part of something bigger, something special." He paused for a moment, watching the waves dance around him. "I guess happiness was here all along, right under my nose. I just needed someone like you to show me." Sammy smiled, feeling proud of his friend. "You've got a joyful spirit inside you, Benny. It just needed a little spark to light it up. Now you can carry this joy with you forever." Benny looked toward the horizon, where the sun was setting, painting the sky with shades of orange and pink. "I want to live every day like this. I want to enjoy the little moments, like this one." He turned to Sammy, his eyes shining. "Thank you, Sammy. You changed my life in a way I never thought possible. And you showed me that true friendship is one of the greatest joys we can have," Sammy replied, gently tapping Benny's fin. "Life is a big adventure, and I'm happy to have you by my side." As the daylight began to fade, Benny felt a wave of gratitude wash over his heart. The transformation he had experienced wasn't just about having fun. It was about connecting, about friendship, and the ability to open up to the world. "I promise that from now on, I'll live with joy and gratitude, even in the simple moments," Benny declared, determined. "I'll remember all of this and share it with all my friends." Sammy nodded, his smile widening. "That's all I could ever wish for, Benny. Let's do it together. The two of us side by side, ready to face whatever comes." With the promise of new adventures and a new life full of joy, the two friends swam together, ready to explore not only the depths of the ocean, but also the vastness of experiences that awaited them. Their friendship was now an unbreakable bond, and Benny knew he would never feel alone again. True joy was finally within his reach. On a bright new morning, the sun shone brightly over the crystal-clear waters of the California beach. Sammy, the dolphin, was eager to see his new friend, Benny. After the seal party, Benny radiated happiness, and Sammy couldn't wait to see him again and explore new adventures in the ocean. "Benny, where are you?" Sammy shouted as he jumped joyfully, making white foam dance around him. His voice echoed through the waters, and he waited to hear the little fish's reply. "I'm here, Sammy. I'm coming," Benny replied, swimming with determination. He swam closer, his silver body shimmering under the sunlight. The confidence he had gained in recent adventures was noticeable. His eyes sparkled with excitement. "Ready for another adventure?" Sammy asked with a big smile. "Definitely. What do you have in mind?" Benny replied, full of energy. He was excited to show Sammy that he was no longer the sad and lonely fish he used to be. "Let's swim to the shallow waters. I heard there's a school of colorful fish there. They say they're the best to play with," Sammy suggested, his eyes gleaming with the anticipation of fun. "That sounds amazing. Let's go," Benny exclaimed, and they both set off toward the new adventure. As they swam, Sammy did acrobatics, jumping and diving, and Benny followed, trying to imitate his friend's movements. "Look, Sammy, I can do it," Benny shouted, making a small jump that, although not as high as Sammy's, made his heart race with joy. "That was great, Benny. You're doing so well. One day you'll jump as high as me," Sammy encouraged, enthusiastically flapping his tail. After a few moments of swimming, they reached an area of shallow waters where the sunlight penetrated, illuminating the seafloor and revealing a vibrant palette of colors. Fish of all shapes and sizes swam happily, creating a mesmerizing display. "Wow! Look at all the fish!" Benny exclaimed, his eyes wide with admiration. "They're so beautiful." "Let's join them," Sammy suggested, and with a swift move, he dove into the middle of the school. Benny hesitated for a moment, watching the dancing fish around him, but soon he joined his friend. The feeling of freedom and joy was contagious. "Hey everyone, I'm Sammy and this is Benny. Can we play with you?" Sammy asked the colorful fish. "Sure, come play," replied a clownfish, swaying its body cheerfully. "We're playing hide and seek." Hide and seek? I love that game, Benny shouted, now full of courage. Great! So who's going to count first? Sammy asked, and soon they decided that Benny would do the counting. With a sparkle in his eyes, he started counting out loud while the other fish scattered, hiding among the rocks and corals. 1, 2, 3. Benny counted, his voice softly echoing through the water. He could hardly believe how much fun he was having, surrounded by new friends and the vibrant energy of the ocean. When Benny reached 10, he shouted, "Ready or not, here I come," and began searching. He felt light, almost like he was floating with so much happiness. Every time he found a hiding fish, laughter filled the water around him. "Hey, you can't hide here!" Sammy yelled to a fish hiding behind a rock. "Gotcha!" Benny was so caught up in the game that he barely noticed how much he had changed. He was having fun, laughing and playing like never before. "I never thought it could be this fun," he exclaimed as he swam happily back and forth. The day continued unfolding in a spectacle of laughter and joy, and Benny realized that, alongside Sammy and his new friends, he finally felt part of something special. Life in the ocean was full of colors and possibilities, and he was ready to explore them all. The sun's rays filtered through the crystal-clear waters of the ocean, illuminating the seafloor and revealing a vibrant, lively world. Sammy and Benny swam together, exploring every corner and reef, when suddenly Benny saw something that made his heart race. An abandoned fishing net was floating dangerously, like an invisible trap, threatening the freedom of the fish that ventured nearby. "Sammy, look at that!" Benny exclaimed, pointing with his fin at the tangled net. "There are so many fish trapped, we need to do something." Sammy stopped beside his friend, his gaze fixed on the net glistening under the sunlight. "You're right, Benny. That net could cause a lot of harm. We have to help." Benny felt a chill in his stomach, remembering the stories Tula had told about the importance of taking action and helping others. He took a deep breath, deciding he couldn't just stand by and do nothing. "Let's gather the others. If we all go together, we can free them." Sammy nodded, admiring Benny's determination. "You're right. Let's go." The two friends swam quickly toward the area where the other fish were gathered. When they arrived, Sammy called out to everyone with enthusiasm. "Hey everyone, we need your help. We found a fishing net and there are fish trapped. Let's free them together." The fish, initially hesitant, began to gather around Sammy and Benny. A clownfish named Nino looked at them with curiosity. "But how are we going to do that? The net is so big." "We need to work together," Benny said, feeling more confident as he spoke. "If we all go together, we can pull the net and free the fish. They need us." The fish started to get excited about the idea. "Let's help! We can't leave them stuck like that," shouted an enthusiastic sardine. With a plan in mind, the sea creatures formed a chain, each one taking a position around the net. Benny, now leading the team, felt a new kind of joy seeing everyone willing to help. "On the count of 3, everyone pull as hard as you can," he instructed, looking into his friend's eyes. 1, 2, 3. The command echoed through the water. With a collective effort, the fish pulled the net, but it was tightly wedged among the rocks. The chain of fish struggled, fighting against the resistance of the net. "Come on, everyone, more strength," Sammy encouraged, feeling the adrenaline rush through his fins. Benny, looking at the trapped fish, remembered Tula's wisdom. He knew that unity was the key. Together, 1, 2, 3. The team pulled again, and this time the net slowly began to move. "We're doing it!" shouted Nino, his excitement contagious. "Keep going, don't give up." With one last effort, the net finally came loose, floating upward and revealing the trapped fish, who were desperately struggling. "We're almost there. Let's free them," said Benny, his voice full of determination. Carefully the fish began to move the net away, and soon the captives started to emerge, swimming in circles around their rescuers, expressing gratitude with small gestures. "Thank you, thank you," the fish murmured, visibly relieved. Benny, breathless and emotional, turned to Sammy. "We did it! We made it!" Sammy smiled, his heart swelling with pride for Benny. "You were amazing, my friend. Your courage and leadership made all the difference." Benny felt a wave of happiness run through him. He had learned not only the importance of friendship, but also how unity and collaboration could change the lives of others. That was wonderful. Thank you all for helping. The fish dispersed, but the joy and sense of accomplishment remained, bonding everyone in a new friendship that would thrive in the depths of the ocean. Benny, now a more confident fish, knew that every small action counted and that true happiness lay in helping one another. When Benny and his friends finally freed the fish caught in the fishing net, a feeling of relief and celebration took over the group. However, the moment of joy was interrupted by a shadow approaching quickly. A large shark, its imposing silhouette cutting through the water, emerged from the depths. Panic spread among the friends. The fish began to scatter in all directions, and even Sammy, who had always been fearless, hesitated. "Run! It's a shark!" shouted one of the fish, while Benny, frozen in fear, locked eyes with the creature. The shark swam closer, his long, powerful fins propelling him with grace, but the expression on his face wasn't fierce. He seemed curious, intrigued by the scene unfolding before him. "Wait!" Benny finally found the courage to speak, his voice trembling. "Maybe he's not here to hurt us." Sammy, still a bit nervous, swam beside Benny. "Are you sure about that? He's a shark. He could swallow us in an instant." Benny looked at the shark, trying to read his intentions. "But he looks sad. Look at the way he's swimming. He's not attacking. He's just watching." The shark came even closer, and with a gentle tone, despite his imposing appearance, he spoke. "Hey, friends. What's going on here? Why all the fuss?" Surprised by the friendly voice, the fish swam a bit closer, still cautious. Benny, feeling like he had to take action, decided to introduce himself. "Hello. We were trying to help some fish that got stuck in this net. You don't want to help us, do you?" The shark paused, looking at the net, then replied, "Oh, I saw that net. I was trying to figure out how I could help, but I'm so big that I didn't want to scare you. I'm Max, and I don't have any intention of hurting anyone." Sammy, hearing Max's tone, began to relax a little. "Max, can you really help us? We need someone strong to move this net." "Of course, I'd love to help," Max said, with a smile that lit up his face. He approached the net with determination. "You all step back a little. I'll push the net away." As Max got into position, Benny looked at his friends. "Come on, he's on our side." Confidence began to grow among them, and everyone got ready to help. Max, with a powerful movement of his body, pushed the net with his head. "Let's go." Everybody pushed together. The team started working as one, with Benny and Sammy swimming alongside Max, encouraging the others to join in. "That's it! 1, 2, 3!" shouted Sammy, and everyone gave it their all. With one final push, the net began to loosen, and the trapped fish were finally able to swim free. "We did it!" The fish cheered, and everyone started celebrating with joy. Max turned around, now completely part of the group. "You guys are amazing. I didn't know I could have this much fun. Usually other fish run away from me." Benny, now full of confidence and empathy, swam up to Max. "That's because you're a shark. People get scared, but you showed us that you can be a friend. Would you like to join us? We can explore together." Max smiled, his eyes shining. "I'd love to. I've always felt lonely, but now I see that friendship can come from anywhere, even from a shark." And so, under the gentle sunlight filtering through the waves, Benny, Sammy, and Max formed a new group of friends. Together they swam toward the horizon, ready for new adventures, knowing that true joy and friendship can indeed come from the most unexpected places. Let's not say goodbye just yet. There's another story ready to unfold. In a serene lake in Michigan, where the sunlight danced on the water's surface, Finn, a wise fish with shimmering scales, swam slowly among the aquatic plants. The environment around him was a symphony of life. Colorful fish played nearby, and frogs croaked gently at night, creating a natural melody that brought peace to the hearts of those who listened. Finn cherished the beauty of that place, spending his days admiring the vibrant colors of the flowers blooming at the edge of the lake and the gentle movement of the leaves in the wind. He was an attentive observer, always seeking new lessons from the small things around him. Meanwhile, the tranquility of the lake was interrupted by a restless figure. Shelley, a turtle with a green shell and big eyes, rushed back and forth with an air of desperation. Her legs moved quickly, and beads of anxiety dotted her body. "Why can't I be faster?" she murmured to herself, as her thoughts were filled with the constant pressure to feel accepted by all the other animals. "If I were perfect, maybe others wouldn't see me as I am." Finn, intrigued by Shelley's agitation, decided to approach her. With a gentle flick of his tail, he emerged from the aquatic vegetation and swam up to the turtle. "Hello, Shelley. Can I help you somehow? You seem a bit uneasy." Shelley stopped abruptly, looking at Finn in surprise. I'm just trying to understand how everyone can be so fast and happy. Look at them," she said, gesturing with her head toward the fish swimming at high speed. "They play and have fun, while I feel stuck in this heavy shell." Finn smiled, understanding the pressure Shelley felt. "You know, we don't need to be fast or perfect to be happy. Each of us has our own pace, and that's what makes us special. What makes you think you need to be different from who you are?" With a deep sigh, Shelley looked at the lake, her eyes reflecting the sunlight. "I just want to be accepted and not feel so slow and inadequate. Sometimes I feel like I'm missing out on life while I wait to be perfect." Then, with the wisdom he had accumulated over the years, Finn suggested, "How about we take a break? Let's explore the lake a bit. You can come with me and maybe you'll discover some beauties you haven't noticed before. Life is made of moments, and sometimes we need to slow down to truly appreciate them." Shelley hesitated, but the idea of exploring the lake with someone as calm and kind as Finn was tempting. "Do you think I should go? What if I can't keep up with you?" "Don't worry about that," replied Finn, gently swaying his tail. "It's not about the speed, it's about the journey. Let's go together and you'll see how we can have fun even without rushing." After a moment of reflection, Shelley agreed, a faint smile beginning to appear on her face. "Okay, Finn, I'll try. Let's explore." And so, Finn and Shelley began their journey, swimming side by side, ready to discover the hidden wonders in the depths of the lake. As they moved away, Shelley felt a lightness beginning to take hold of her heart. The anxiety was still there, but a new hope was starting to grow. Finn was right. Perhaps true happiness lay in enjoying the moment, rather than chasing an ideal that might never be reached. Finn watched Shelley's restlessness with a look of concern. He knew that behind that frantic movement was an anxious heart, and he decided to approach her. He swam slowly to the edge where she was, his tail moving gently in the water. "Hi, Shelley," he said with a calm and soothing voice. "Why are you so nervous? What's going on?" Shelley stopped abruptly, as if she had been caught red-handed. She looked at Finn, her little legs trembling a bit. "Oh, Finn, I just want to be perfect. All the other fish are always so fast and cheerful. I feel so slow and clumsy. What will they think of me if I can't keep up?" Finn smiled gently, understanding the pressure Shelley felt. "But you don't need to be like them. Everyone has their own rhythm. Have you ever stopped to observe the beauty around you? Sometimes you need to slow down to notice the wonders that surround us." Shelley frowned, confused. "Slow down? But won't that help me get better? If I don't rush, I'll fall behind." "Don't worry about that," replied Finn, swimming slowly in circles around her. "How about we take a break? Come with me on a little journey. You might be surprised at what you'll find." Reluctantly, Shelley hesitated for a moment, but curiosity was stronger. "Okay, Finn, I'll try, but I can't promise I won't feel anxious." "That's all I ask," said Finn, winking. "Let's have fun and explore together." They set off, and Finn led Shelley to a magical place in the lake, the colorful reefs. When they arrived, Shelley was speechless. Fish of all colors danced in sync, their scales gleaming under the sunlight. "Wow," murmured Shelley. "Look at all of them." "Yes," replied Finn, with a sparkle in his eyes. See how they're having fun. Wouldn't you like to join them? Shelley hesitated, anxiety returning strongly. I don't know. What will they think of me if I can't swim as well as they do? Who cares? Finn replied, with an encouraging smile. Try it. You might find that having fun is more important than being perfect. With a deep breath, Shelley finally decided to take the risk. She took a hesitant stroke and, to her surprise, felt the cool and refreshing water surrounding her body. Soon, she was moving more freely, keeping up with the fish in their dances. Joy began to replace her anxiety. "This is amazing," she exclaimed, laughing. "I didn't know I could feel this way." See, sometimes we need to let ourselves be who we are, without worrying about what others think, said Finn, watching Shelley's transformation with satisfaction. After some time playing, they continued their journey. Finn took Shelley to a field of wildflowers swaying gently in the breeze. The vibrant colors and sweet scents were enchanting. Finn explained, "Look how each flower sways in its own rhythm. They don't rush, yet they're all beautiful in their own way." Shelley looked at the flowers, her heart starting to calm down. "You're right, Finn. Each flower is unique. I don't need to hurry to be happy, do I?" "Exactly," Finn replied, pleased with her realization. "Just like the flowers, you have your own timing. Life is a journey, not a race." In a moment of reflection, Shelley smiled at Finn, her eyes shining with gratitude. "Thank you, Finn. You really helped me see things in a different way. I was so focused on being perfect that I forgot to appreciate the beauty around me." And that's the first lesson, my friend. Valuing serenity and beauty is what allows us to find true happiness, said Finn, feeling proud of his friend. The journey was just beginning, but for the first time, Shelley felt she could face her fears and anxieties. With Finn by her side, serenity began to bloom in her heart. Finn and Shelley continued their journey through the lake, and the tranquility of the environment seemed to spread even to the anxious turtle. The wise fish led her to a field of wildflowers swaying gently with the breeze. The colorful petals waved like little flags, displaying a simple yet profound beauty. Shelley looked around, her eyes wide, and let out a sigh of admiration. "Look at this, Shelley," said Finn, gliding smoothly among the flowers. "Each flower here has its own rhythm. They don't rush, but they still bloom to their fullest." Shelley approached a purple flower that stood out among the others. "It's so beautiful," she murmured, almost to herself. "Why did I never notice this before?" "Maybe because you were too busy rushing around," Finn replied with a gentle smile. "Sometimes you need to slow down to really see and appreciate what's around you." "I always thought I needed to be fast and perfect to be happy," Shelley said, looking down and feeling a weight in her chest. "But now, looking at these flowers, I realize they don't worry about that." "Exactly," Finn exclaimed, excited about Shelley's progress. "Just like the flowers, every creature has its own time. There's no right or wrong way to live. The important thing is to find your own rhythm." Shelley began to move slowly among the flowers, allowing herself to feel the gentle breeze on her shell and the sweet scent of the petals. "It's so relaxing here," she said, smiling for the first time in a long time. "I didn't know I could feel like this." Finn watched Shelley as she wandered, taking in the beauty that surrounded her. He knew that each small step she took brought her closer to self-discovery. "Remember, Shelley," he called to her, "life isn't a race, it's a journey, and every moment has its own magic." "Thank you, Finn," she replied, her voice full of gratitude. "You've really helped me see things differently." As they continued to explore, Finn led Shelley to a higher spot where they could see the entire field of flowers. The sun was beginning to set, painting the sky in orange and pink, reflecting on the calm waters of the lake. "Look at that," said Finn, pointing to the horizon. "It's all a reminder that life is beautiful and full of surprises." "This view is incredible," said Shelley, her eyes sparkling with emotion. "I never would have come here on my own." "And that's one of the reasons why it's so important to have friends," said Finn. "They help us discover places and experiences that we might otherwise miss." Shelley looked at Finn, realizing how their friendship had become an anchor in her life. You're an amazing friend, Finn. I don't know what I'd do without you. And you're an amazing learner, Shelley. I'm proud to see how much you're growing, Finn replied, winking. Now how about we take a break and enjoy this moment? Shelley nodded, and the two settled among the flowers, listening to the sound of the wind and the distant croaking of frogs. The lake's tranquility embraced them like a hug, and the turtle felt a sense of peace she had never experienced before. I wish I could share this with everyone at the lake, said Shelley, looking at Finn with new determination. I want them to see what I'm seeing. You can do that, Shelley. Change starts with a single step, encouraged Finn. And who knows? You might inspire many others to slow down and appreciate the beauty around them. I'm going to do it, Shelley exclaimed, full of enthusiasm. I'll show them how serenity can transform our lives. Thank you for helping me see that, Finn. And I'll be by your side whenever you need, replied Finn, his heart full of joy. Together, they gazed at the beauty of the lake, ready for whatever the future had in store. Finn and Shelley floated gently on the surface of the lake, the water reflecting the soft moonlight. The atmosphere was magical, and the night's serenity enveloped the two friends like a warm embrace. As they explored the vegetation-covered shore, Finn stopped in a small clearing where a family of frogs was getting ready to sing. The vibrant sound of their croaking echoed around, creating a melody that seemed to dance in the air. Shelley, come listen to this. The frogs have such contagious energy. Let's join them, Finn exclaimed, his eyes sparkling with enthusiasm. Shelley hesitated, looking at the group of frogs gathered on a floating log. I don't know, Finn. What if I can't sing? What if I don't fit in? I always feel so out of place. Don't worry about that, my friend. What matters is having fun and being yourself. Nobody here is concerned with perfection. Just listen and feel the music, Finn replied, encouraging her with a warm smile. Taking a deep breath, Shelley took a hesitant step toward the group. The frog's engaging melody began to touch her heart, and despite her anxiety, she felt drawn to the joy that radiated from the little group. As she got closer, one of the frogs with a vibrant tone noticed her and invited her over. Hey, you there, come join us. Are you ready to sing? I don't know if I can, Shelley replied, her voice trembling. Don't worry about it. Just follow our rhythm and sing however your heart feels. Music is for everyone, the frog continued, winking at her. Shelley looked at Finn, who encouraged her with a nod. With a mix of nervousness and determination, she joined the group. As she began to sing, still a bit hesitant, the melody wrapped around her like a warm blanket. With each note, her anxiety started to melt away, and gradually she let herself be carried away by the joyful music. While they sang, Shelley felt a wave of belonging wash over her. The frogs, with their harmonious croaking, created an invisible bond that connected her to every creature around. The music seemed to unite everyone in a single voice, and she realized she didn't need to be perfect to feel part of something bigger. Look at you, Shelley! You're singing so well, Finn shouted, his voice full of excitement. Shelley smiled, feeling more at ease. This is so freeing. I never thought I could feel this way, she confessed, her voice filled with joy. The frogs, noticing Shelley's transformation, began to cheer. You're amazing. Never doubt that you have a place here with us, one of them exclaimed, full of excitement. Thank you. I really didn't expect to feel like this, said Shelley, a sparkle of happiness in her eyes. She had let herself be carried away by the experience and now felt like part of that lively community. As the song continued, Finn watched his friend with a smile on his face. He knew that this was an important step in Shelley's journey toward self-discovery and acceptance. The music not only connected her to others, but also helped her recognize her own strength and the beauty within. When the song finally ended, Shelley felt euphoric. You guys are incredible. I never thought singing could be this fun, she declared, breathless but radiant. You must come back and sing with us any time. Music is even more beautiful with you here, one of the frogs suggested, clapping enthusiastically. Definitely, I'd love to, Shelley replied, her heart full of gratitude and happiness. In that moment, she not only allowed herself to be part of the group, but also found a new way to see herself, not just as the anxious turtle, but as a friend and singer among her peers. Finn and Shelley swam slowly through the calm waters of the lake when they spotted a family of ducks gathering in a sunny corner. The ducks swam in perfect harmony, forming a well-organized V as they moved together. Shelley, admiring the scene, felt a surge of curiosity. "Look, Finn, they seem so united. It's like they're always in sync," the turtle commented, her eyes sparkling with interest. "Yes, Shelley, they have a special way of supporting each other. When one duck needs help, the others are always ready to assist," Finn replied, gliding slowly beside her. "Unity is one of the greatest strengths we can have, especially in tough times." Shelley frowned, reflecting on her own struggles. "Sometimes I feel like I'm alone in this search for acceptance. It's hard not to want to be perfect, and the pressure makes me anxious." Finn, sensing his friend's vulnerability, stopped and looked her in the eyes. "We all go through moments of insecurity, Shelley, but the important thing is to remember that we don't have to face these challenges alone. Look at the ducks. They know that together, they're stronger. When one of them gets tired, the others help keep it afloat." The turtle watched the ducks as they dived and emerged, always close to each other. "Maybe I can learn to trust others more," she said thoughtfully. "I guess I always believed I needed to be fast and perfect to be accepted. That's a pressure you don't need to put on yourself. Accepting your imperfections is an important step. Everyone has their own rhythm and their own worth," advised Finn, as he began swimming toward the duck family. "Let's go talk to them. I'm sure they have some interesting stories to share about working together." Shelley hesitated, but curiosity pushed her to follow Finn. They approached the ducks, who were resting after a dive. "Hello, friends," Finn called out, his voice gentle and welcoming. "We've been admiring how you gather and support each other. Could you share a bit about how you do it?" One of the ducks, a robust male with shiny feathers, raised his head and smiled. "Oh, of course. Here in our family, we always remember that each of us has a role to play. When one of us is struggling, we help. When one of us needs to rest, the others keep swimming around them, protecting them." Shelley, intrigued, asked, "And what if someone gets distracted or feels insecure? How do you deal with that?" The oldest duck, with slightly worn feathers, replied in a gentle tone, "We talk. Communication is key. If someone feels insecure or isn't doing well, we talk about it. We don't let worry or anxiety become a burden for just one. That way, everyone feels supported." "That makes a lot of sense," said Shelley, feeling more at ease. "I always thought I had to deal with my insecurities on my own, but now I realize that being united can lighten that load." "Exactly, dear," exclaimed the older duck, winking at Shelley. "When we come together, we can face any storm life throws our way. And remember, each of us is unique, and that's what makes our group special." Finn, pleased with the lesson Shelley was learning, looked at her and smiled. "See, you're not alone. There's always someone willing to help, just like you can help others." Shelley, with a new sparkle in her eyes, felt inspired. "I guess I never thought about sharing what I've learned with others. If I can help someone just like you do, it would make me feel so much better." "And you can, Shelley," encouraged Finn. "You're already becoming someone who values unity and calmness. By sharing your journey, you can inspire others to do the same. When you help, you also help yourself." With a light heart, Shelley smiled at the ducks and at Finn. "Thank you for showing me that unity is the key. I'm ready to learn and help others find that calmness too." Shelley looked up at the sky, where the sun was beginning to set, coloring the lake's waters with shades of orange and pink. Her heart pounded with nervousness as she prepared for the meeting she had organized. It was a task that seemed simple, but for the turtle who used to be overwhelmed by anxiety, it was a big step. Finn, her wise fish friend, was by her side, offering silent support. "You can do it, Shelley. Remember everything you've learned," said Finn, swimming slowly around her. "The animals are here because they want to hear your story. I know, but what if they don't like what I have to say? What if I stutter? Shelley replied, her voice choked with worry. Everyone has felt like that at some point. What matters is that you're being genuine. Speak from your heart, and that will be enough, encouraged Finn, with a calm smile. Shelley took a deep breath, trying to focus on the flowers around her, which swayed gently in the breeze. You're right. I just need to be myself. With one last look at the lake, which was now filling up with curious animals, she prepared to step onto the small rock that served as an improvised stage. The first to arrive were the frogs, croaking excitedly, followed by a family of ducks and some fish swimming around the shore. The frogs, always cheerful, began singing a soft song, creating a welcoming atmosphere. Shelley watched the scene, her heart beating more calmly with the music. Look how many came, Shelley. They're here because they believe in you, said Finn, blinking encouragingly. When she finally climbed onto the rock, Shelley felt butterflies in her stomach. She faced the crowd, which looked at her with anticipation. Hello, friends. I'm Shelley, she began, her voice trembling but determined. Today, I'd like to share something I've learned about life in the lake. The animals listened attentively, some leaning forward, while others settled down on the shores. I used to feel so anxious and worried about what others thought of me. But with the help of my friend Finn, I learned that true beauty is in finding calmness within ourselves and valuing unity. She glanced at Finn, who gave her an encouraging smile. I used to run around, feeling inadequate, but now I know that we all have our own pace, and that's okay. Just like the flowers that dance in the breeze, each of us has our own way of being happy. A murmur of agreement arose among the animals. The frogs in particular seemed excited by her words. That's right, each of us has a place here, croaked one of them, making the others nod enthusiastically. Shelley took a deep breath and continued, when we start supporting each other and coming together, we can face any challenge. I want everyone here to know that you don't have to face your battles alone. We can be stronger together. She saw a glimmer in the animal's eyes, which encouraged her to go on. I know it can be hard, but calmness and unity are powerful. I'd like all of us to come together more and help one another, just like the ducks who always support each other as a family. The animals began to stir, and Shelley realized her message was resonating. Yes, Shelley, we can do it, exclaimed a duck, nodding. Feeling a little more confident, Shelley concluded, let's remember that calmness and unity can guide us through tough times. Thank you all for being here and listening to me. An applause broke out among the animals, and Shelley felt wrapped in a wave of support. Finn approached, proud, as the animals began to chat excitedly, reflecting on her words. The atmosphere was filled with hope and determination, a kind of energy that promised to make the lake an even more united and harmonious place. As Shelley was speaking, a strong current started to form in the lake, stirring up the calm surface and causing the ripples to grow stronger and stronger. The sound of the rushing water was threatening, and the eyes of the gathered animals widened with worry. Shelley, who had been immersed in her words about calmness and unity, felt a chill in her stomach as she realized the situation was becoming dangerous. Everyone, stay calm, shouted Finn, trying to reassure the crowd. We need to stick together. Don't let fear scatter us. But the current kept growing stronger, and panic began to spread among the animals. The frogs, who had been so lively before, were now clinging to each other, and the fish swam frantically in circles. With her heart racing, Shelley looked around and saw the fear on her friends' faces. She needed to act. Remembering everything she had learned from Finn, the turtle took a deep breath and decided she couldn't let fear take over. Everyone, listen. Her voice was shaky, but she made an effort to speak firmly. We need to stick together like the ducks. If we split up, it'll be harder for us. The animals, still restless, hesitated for a moment. An owl flew closer, landing on a rock at the edge of the lake. Shelley, this is too risky. What if the current sweeps us away? She looked deeply into Shelley's eyes, seeking an answer that would calm her own fears. I know it's risky, Shelley replied, her heart pounding in her chest. But if we don't try, we could lose everything we've accomplished together. Remember that our strength is in unity. If we form a chain, we can support each other and face this together. The animals started looking at each other, weighing their options. Finn, who had been by Shelley's side throughout her journey, came closer to her. You're right, Shelley. Unity is our greatest power. Let's form a chain. Each of us should hold on to the next and stay strong. Inspired by Shelley's determination and Finn's wisdom, the animals began to move. Frogs, stay close to each other, Finn ordered, gesturing with his fins. Fish, form a line along the surface. Let's stick together. Shelley looked at the animals around her. Come on, everyone. If you feel unsure, look to the side and grab your neighbor's fin or paw. We won't let the current tear us apart. Her firm voice echoed with new energy, and something changed in the atmosphere. The spirit of unity began to spread, and panic gave way to a collective determination. The animals started to gather. The frogs lined up, holding onto each other with their legs, while the fish formed an arc around them, swimming together to keep the fierce current under control. Shelley took her place at the center of the chain, feeling the growing strength that came from all those around her. We're in this together, don't forget that, she shouted, her voice now full of confidence. Together we're stronger, cried one of the frogs, inspiring the others. The current roared, but now, instead of chaos, there was a sense of cohesion in the air. Shelley felt her own anxiety being replaced by an unbreakable determination, and for the first time, she didn't feel alone. With that, courage spread like wildfire. The animals, who had feared the current, were now ready to face the challenge ahead, united in a chain of strength and hope. As the water roared, Shelley prepared to lead them into this new phase, confident that together they could overcome any obstacle. The animals, agitated and fearful, could feel the current growing stronger around them. Shelley, her heart beating fast, looked at the anxious faces surrounding her. She knew she couldn't let panic take over. Remembering the lessons Finn had taught her about the importance of unity and calmness, she took a deep breath and with a firm voice shouted, Everyone, listen, we need to stick together. If we come together, we can face this current. The other animals' eyes turned toward Shelley. The frogs, who had been singing happily just moments ago, now watched with concern. How are we going to do that, Shelley? Asked one of the frogs, its voice trembling. The current is too strong. If we form a chain, we can support each other, replied Shelley, her confidence growing with every word. Remember the ducks. They always support each other in tough times. We can do that too. Finn, swimming nearby, raised his head above the surface and shouted, That's right, Shelley. Form a line. Each of you should grab onto the tail of the one in front. That way, we'll keep our strength. The animals, realizing that unity might be the key to their survival, began to organize. Come on, everyone. Get in line, encouraged one of the frogs, as it positioned itself to grab onto a nearby turtle's tail. Gradually, the fish, frogs, and even the ducks started to align, all determined to follow Shelley and Finn's advice. Careful, don't let go, warned a duck, its voice full of urgency. If one lets go, we'll all be in danger. Shelley, now at the front of the line, felt adrenaline rushing through her veins. Stay together, let's go. She turned to look at Finn, who swam beside her, keeping calm. Are we ready? She asked, her voice slightly trembling. Yes, we are. Remember, Shelley, calmness is key. Let's focus on what we need to do, replied Finn with an encouraging look. When I say so, everyone should use their tails and swim together. That will give us strength. The current roared, and the water began to foam around them. Shelley felt the fear fade away a little, replaced by determination. We're in this together. 1, 2, 3, Finn shouted, and all the animals began to swim in the same direction, pulling each other along. The strength of the current was immense, but the animals' unity formed a surprising resistance. Shelley felt the support of her friends, and the sense of belonging made her stronger. We're doing it, exclaimed a frog, struggling against the current. Don't stop. Keep going. Don't look at what's happening around us. Focus on us, Shelley shouted, her voice resonating with confidence. We're in this together, and that's what matters." The animals, guided by Shelley's leadership and Finn's wisdom, began to realize that while the current was strong, it wasn't unbeatable. Their tails moved in sync, and each one felt the weight of the other, as if an invisible force was holding them together. "We're almost there," said a duck, breathless but determined. Shelley looked at the faces around her, all focused and determined. "We're nearly at the safe platform. Keep going." The sight of the platform, a raised place where they could rest, encouraged them even more. Finally, with one last collective push, they managed to cross the current. The feeling of relief was instant. When they reached the platform, everyone let themselves fall into the calm water, exhausted but triumphant. The looks of relief and gratitude spread among them. "We did it!" Shelley shouted, her voice filled with emotion. "We did it together!" The animals began to cheer, and the sound of their voices mixed with the peaceful murmur of the lake. Shelley smiled, feeling stronger and more confident than ever. What once seemed impossible had now become a memory of courage and unity. The current had tested them, but the strength they found in their togetherness saved them. With all the animals finally safe, a sense of relief hung over the lake. The frogs, fish, turtles, and even the ducks gathered on a floating platform, their hearts still racing from the adrenaline of the current that had nearly torn them apart. Shelley, breathless, looked around, still trying to grasp the magnitude of what had just happened. The other animals' eyes turned toward her, and a murmur of gratitude began to echo. "You were amazing, Shelley," exclaimed one of the ducks, shaking its head in admiration. "I never thought a turtle could do so much in a moment of crisis." "It's true," said an emotional frog. "You really stood out. I've never seen anyone bring everyone together like that." Shelley, still a bit dazed, felt the warmth of the compliments, but at the same time a wave of humility washed over her. She looked at the excited faces of her friends and spoke, her voice trembling but firm. "I just did what I learned from Finn. Unity is the real strength. If it weren't for him, I wouldn't have remembered any of this." Finn, who stood beside her, smiled, his gaze full of pride. He knew that Shelley's journey had not only turned her into a leader, but also helped her understand the value of friendship and community. He stepped closer, placing a comforting fin on her shell. "You were fantastic, Shelley. Your courage in such a critical moment is truly an inspiration to all of us. You didn't just save yourself, you saved everyone here." The other animals began to cheer, splashing their paws and fins in the water, creating a sound of celebration. "Shelley! Shelley!" they chanted in unison, and the turtle felt her heart warm. As the cheers began to fade, Finn decided it was time to speak. He turned to the gathered animals and in a clear voice said, "What happened here today is a powerful reminder that in difficult times our strength lies in unity. Shelley showed us that even when life's currents threaten us, we can stay together and overcome the challenges." "Yes!" shouted a frog, jumping with enthusiasm. "We should always remember that." "Exactly," added a colorful fish. "And we should also thank our friend for finding the courage to lead." Shelley, touched by everyone's words, looked at her friends. She remembered her insecurities, how she used to feel lost and anxious. That same Shelley was now surrounded by a community that supported her. With a more confident voice, she began, "I couldn't have done it without each of you. I learned that we don't have to carry the weight of the world alone. We all have a role to play, and together we are stronger." The animals applauded again, and Shelley felt tears of happiness well up in her eyes. She turned to Finn, who was watching her with a proud sparkle in his eye. "Thank you, Finn," she said softly. "You taught me the importance of calmness and the beauty in every little moment. Today we didn't just come together to face the storm, but also to celebrate our friendship." Finn nodded, moved. True peace and calmness come from recognizing that we are all connected. Today, you became a symbol of strength, Shelley, and remember, this journey of self-discovery never ends. The animals began to disperse, but the energy of unity and gratitude still lingered in the air. Shelley looked at the lake, reflecting on how life could be beautiful and peaceful when they were together. Finn, beside her, knew that this was just one of the many lessons they would still share. "What do you think will happen next?" Finn asked, looking at the horizon. "I don't know," Shelley replied, smiling, "but I'm sure that together we'll be ready for whatever comes." And so, as the sun began to set, painting the sky orange and pink, Shelley and Finn joined the other animals, ready to celebrate not just survival, but the new friendship and strength they had found together. As the celebration of victory echoed across the lake, with the animals laughing and sharing stories about what had happened, a new fish emerged at the surface, panting and out of breath. It was a sunfish, known for its ability to navigate turbulent waters, and its arrival didn't go unnoticed. "Shelley! Finn!" it called, its voice echoing with urgency. "I need your help. A nearby lake is facing a crisis. The current there is causing panic among the inhabitants. They don't know how to deal with it." Shelley, still feeling the adrenaline from the recent adventure, looked at Finn, who watched her with an encouraging smile. The transformation she had gone through had made her more confident. "What happened?" Shelley asked, approaching the sunfish, her eyes shining with determination. "The animals in that lake are in despair. They've never learned to come together in a crisis. The pressure and fear have driven them apart, and many are getting lost in the currents. We need to act fast." The sunfish paused, taking a deep breath. "I heard about your bravery and how you helped everyone here. I thought you could help us too." Finn, who had already seen Shelley's strength, placed a fin on her shoulder. "This is a big responsibility, but I feel like you're ready for it, Shelley. You've already become a leader among the inhabitants of this lake. What do you think?" Shelley felt a warmth rise through her shell, a mix of nervousness and excitement. I want to help. If we could bring everyone together here during the storm, we can do the same there. They need to learn to value calmness and unity, just like I did." She looked at the sunfish. "Can you show us the way?" "Of course. Follow me." The sunfish swam quickly, and Shelley and Finn followed, feeling the urgency in every move. Along the way, Shelley reflected on everything she had learned. "Finn, do you think they'll listen to what we have to say?" she asked, her voice a little shaky. "If you speak from the heart, they will listen. Remember how you felt before you found calmness. Everyone needs a guide in moments of uncertainty, and you're the right one for the job," Finn replied, his confidence in Shelley evident. When they reached the new lake, the scene was bleak. Animals gathered in small groups, their voices filled with fear and despair. The currents created waves that threatened to drive them even further apart. Shelley felt a weight in her heart at the sight of what was happening. "Hey, everyone!" Shelley shouted, trying to get the animals' attention. "I'm Shelley, and this is Finn. We're here to help you." The animals turned to her, some with hope, others with skepticism. A frog, who seemed to be one of the leaders, approached. "How can you help us? We're lost. The current is tearing us apart, and we don't know what to do." Finn spoke up. "Together we can form a chain just like we did at our lake. Unity is the key to overcoming this crisis. Everyone has a role to play, and together we'll be stronger." Shelley, feeling the energy of the moment, stepped forward. "The current may be strong, but our unity is even stronger. Just like the flowers we've learned to appreciate, each of you has your own rhythm. Let's work together to face this challenge." The animals began to look at each other, some hesitant, others starting to move toward one another. Shelley continued, her voice steady. "If we can form a chain and support each other, we can resist and find calmness. Let's unite." The tension in the air started to ease. The animals, inspired by Shelley's determination, began to swim together, forming a large chain. Finn, alongside Shelley, guided the maneuver, instructing them on how to position themselves and not lose hope. "That's it. Now stay together," he shouted, as the current still struggled to pull them apart. Shelley felt a new kind of strength growing within her, a confidence she had never known before. As the animals faced the current together, Shelley smiled, realizing that calmness and unity were truly more powerful when shared. And as she looked at Finn, she knew that her journey was just beginning. Together, they set out on a new adventure, ready to face any challenge that came their way, always with open hearts and the determination to help others. Sleep tight, little dreamers. I'll be here again tomorrow with new tales for us to enjoy together.